Welcome to GSKP Georgia Sunflower Kansas Peach. Y'all, it's August 21st, Wednesday. This year is about to be over. Almost done. All my August birthdays, happy birthday to you, to you, to you. I wish you many more. Today we're going to talk about Susan Lorinez, I think is her last name. This woman committed murder back in June 23. I think it's June 23rd, 2020. We're going to get into that, but right now let's just enjoy this music. And again, happy birthday, August 21st, 2024. But the sky is gray. Everything. I gotta chew it. Mm. I wish I knew. And where I screw. I wish I knew. My knowledge. Mm. Thank you for joining me here on GSKP Georgia Sunflower Kansas Peach on August 21st, Wednesday. Hello, all my sunflower seeds and my peach trees. How you doing? It's good to see ya. Good to see you. It's been a little minute since I made a video. I've had a lot going on, so you guys please forgive me. um, just know I've been keeping up with things. We've got the presidency coming up, and we had the DNC last night, and uh, lots of things going on. One of them I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. It's just life has been life, and it's been a lot lately. So, but all at the same time, I have to thank God because I didn't have to be here, and I am. So I'm thankful for that. So let's get to the matter at hand. This is a touchy situation, conversation. I know it. Excuse me. We're going to talk about a lady that committed murder back in June of 2023 in Ocala, Florida. Her name is Susan Lorinez. This woman killed a mother of four. It made headlines back in 23. The woman that was killed was a black woman, killed by a white woman or some other nationality, race. Susan, who is the perpetrator, the killer, says that she was terrified by a woman named A.J. Owens. She said she was terrified because this woman was knocking on her door. Okay. You're terrified because the woman was knocking on your door. That's the reason for you to shoot through the door one shot, which unalived this lady with 4 children. Now, the reason for this woman coming over knocking on her door is because this old white woman had been calling her children niggas, slaves, pickaninnies, coons. You know those names you white folks, you crackers have, you peckerwoods have for us black folks. She's calling this lady's children those names because they were playing in her yard. Now, I ain't mad at the lady about your children in my yard. She's not wrong for that. If she don't want somebody else's children in her yard, she has every right. That's her yard. That's her yard. I'm the same way. If I don't want your kids in my yard, get them. Please, get them out my yard. But the name calling, the being mean to them, they're still children. They're still little kids. You don't want them to play in your yard. All you have to do is tell them. You don't have to be mean to them. 9 times out of 10, if you'd say, babies, y'all please don't play in my yard because it's got stickers and glass and this, that, and the other, and I don't want you to get hurt. Most times, 9 times out of 10, the babies will listen. Mind you, these are little children. These aren't teenagers. These ain't big grown children. These are babies. They just playing. One of the children, from what I understand, had an iPad or whatever, pad, whatever. And this lady got a hold of it. How much playing are they doing when they got iPads and iPods and all that stuff? Ain't that much playing going on. They sitting down looking at something. They just happen to be sitting down looking at it in your yard and you're upset? To where you have to call these children out of their names. But then when the mama comes over there to confront you about how you've been treating her children, now your bad ass is scared, right? Now your life is in danger. When an adult comes to talk to you about how you're talking to her children, now you want to run and hide. But you're tough and you're big and you're bad when the babies are in your yard playing like children do. You want to call them and cuss them. And now you want somebody to feel sorry for you because you're in jail. You were so terrified and have to this day shown zero, zero remorse. Zero remorse. You can go on YouTube and see the interrogation. Friday, she was found guilty of manslaughter. Manslaughter. I'm not sure how many years that carries. From what I understand, she's facing up to 60 years. I just hope she does every minute of it. That's what I want to happen. I want her to do every minute of it. If for nothing else, for those children. Because you took their mother away from them. Because of foolishness. Because you're a coward. Piece of trash. That's what you are. Because as I said before, if you can say all them things to them children, you should be able to say it to their mama, to their daddy. If it upset you like that, you should have been able to say it to them kids as parents. But no, you want to bully the babies. You want to talk trash to the children. And you can't lie about it because you were bolden. The neighbors have even testified to the fact that you talked to those children like that. And then going to set up in your interrogation and lie and say that that woman was cussing and fussing at you. And the neighbor said, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. That woman came to your house respectfully after you disrespected her children. And she still came. Miss A.J. Owens is the lady's name, the mother of the 4 children that is now deceased because of Miss Susan. She yet came to your house respectfully to talk to you about her children. And you were so terrified that you shot and killed Miss A.J. Owens. Even if you get 60 years. That still ain't enough time for you. Those children have to spend the rest of their lives without their mother. Unlike you, if you do have any children, they can still come see you. Might be behind bars, but they can see you. Might not be every day, but they can come and see you. These four little children, they will never be able to see their mother again. They can't call her. They can't write her. They can't text her. They can't touch her. They can't hug her. They can't kiss their mother anymore. Can't play with their mother anymore. All because of you. And you have the nerve to sit up in there and think you're right, that you haven't done anything wrong. That's just another dead nigga, ain't it? Y'all done got emboldened. Now, let's see how tough you are behind bars. Let's see how bad you are then. Let's see who you cuss out then and who you call niggas and slaves and coons and monkeys and all that then. Peckerwoods get bad when they got a gun, when they got a badge, when it's a whole bunch of them. But you catch them by themselves. Scariest thing you ever want to see. It's sad. And like it or not, we live in a world where your presidential nominees would like for it to be that way, to where we hated one another and killed one another. If America was so-called great again. This is a new day. And we are not going back. And if we fight, we win. This is terrible. This lady killed these children's parents just because of hate, ignorance. And now she wants somebody to sympathize with her. During the interrogation, she tells the police officers, I was so scared. I was feared for my life. You couldn't have been. You couldn't have been. And why would you be afraid if you felt like you did something right? Why would you? When have you ever been afraid when you thought you were right? You tell me when. In the comments, somebody tell me when they thought they were right, that they were afraid. When you're right, you were afraid. Somebody tell me in the comments when they were afraid, when they know that they were right. Now, me, myself, I'm a woman of a certain age. And I've been on this earth a few minutes now. And them things that my mom and daddy told me that I didn't want to hear back then, longer I stay here, that stuff be true. Your mamas and your grandparents and your aunties and uncles, them try to tell us when we smelling ourselves and we thinking we grown and we know everything. That stuff be true. And when they tell you, if you do right, you know, when they told us, if you tell a lie, you got to tell another lie to cover up the first lie. If you do it right the first time, treat people the way you want to be treated. Be nice. Be kind. Be respectful of others. Remember? You remember that? So if anybody can tell me when they were right and scared, put it in the comments. You put it in the comments. Now I know when I feel like I'm right, I'm not scared. You can't tell me nothing. When I know I'm right, you can't tell me nothing. Now when I'm wrong, might not like it, but you can tell me. When I'm wrong, or when I think I'm wrong, I'm nervous. I'm second guessing myself. I'm double checking. Looking back over it. Looking over my shoulder when I'm wrong. When you know you done wrong. Now, Miss Susan is unremorseful. Miss Susan has shown no remorse whatsoever. None. Now, does Miss Susan really think she's right for what she did? Or is that hell and hatefulness in Miss Susan? Somebody tell me in the comments. Go on YouTube and watch Miss Susan Lorinez being interrogated by the police on YouTube. You can also catch her court proceedings on YouTube. She is supposed to be sentenced soon. Now, when I was looking at YouTube the other day, they showed a picture and said that Miss Susan, I guess she finally broke down and was crying. But I don't believe Miss Susan was crying because she is remorseful. I think Miss Susan is crying because she has finally realized and recognized what she has done. And I hope that is the case. I hope that's the case. That she realized what she has done. And there's no way getting out of it or around it. She has taken someone's life over complete, silly mess, hate, and anger over children that weren't causing anyone any hurt, harm, or danger. They were simply being children playing. Now, don't get me wrong. I know these little niggas and Peckerwood children can be just as bad as hell. We ain't gonna play like that. We're not gonna pretend that all these little kids are angels, because they are not. And they probably did not have any business whatsoever in that woman's yard. They didn't have no business in her yard. They didn't. You got your own yard. Play in your own yard. Now, she right about that. I ain't mad at Susan about that. Keep your kids in your own yard. Because, in this day and age, they don't want nobody to say nothing to them. Don't touch them. Don't do this. Well, keep them over there with you. That way I don't have to say nothing to them. Now, Miss Susan is right about that. Keep them little old imps over there. Keep their bad butts in their yard, out of my yard. Now, Miss Susan is right about that. They didn't have any business, and I'm sorry. I don't care who don't like it. They didn't have any business in that lady's yard. Because if something had happened to them, then here come the parents, which did. See? She should have tore their little butts up and told them, don't let me catch you over there in that woman's yard no more. She crazy and she don't want you over there. Because this was not the first run-in they'd had with one another about her children being in that woman's yard. But Miss Susan, you didn't have to shoot that lady. You were not that terrified and scared. You was full of hell and hatefulness. That was not fear. And you thought you could get away with killing that lady. Just like that old man did here in Kansas City and shot that boy. A teenager, 12 or 13-year-old boy. Just an old hateful Peckerwood. And yes, I said it. And both of them was just as wrong as two left shoes. Now, I'm not being high and mighty, and I'm not being above, because the little bad behind kids come by here and run and play and jump in my yard all the time. And when I go out there and look upside their heads, they know I don't want them in my yard. And guess what they do? They move right along. I don't even have to say nothing to them. I just go out there and look. And they get right on out of my yard and move on. See, I don't want them over here because I don't want nothing to happen to them. Because the minute something happened to them, again, here come their parents. Well, if you had them, and I feel like if they should have had them in your yard. If you come down here, your mama better say you can come down here. Your daddy better say it's okay. You ain't gonna be just playing in my yard to play in my yard. I understand Miss Susan on that, because we're in a day and time. I can understand Miss Susan on that part. But Susan, you was wrong for shooting that lady. And you was wrong for talking to her children like that. And if it had been me, I'd have come down there for you too. Talk to me like you talk to my children. But you was wrong, see? And you know you were wrong for talking to them children like that. That's why you were so scared. The terror that you claimed, that's where your terror came from. Because you knew you didn't have no business cussing that lady's children. You knew that. That's why you were terrified. And that woman had every right to tear your behind up as raggedy as Yakame for talking to her children like that. She had every right to kick your butt for calling her children all those terrible names. She had every right. That's why you were scared. I would have been scared too. If I had been talking to somebody's children like a dog, and then their mamas and daddies come for me, yeah, I'd have been scared too. But that's what you get because you was wrong. And I hope they give you every minute of those 60 years. They ought to give you 80. She got 4 children, 20 years a child. Because those children are going to have to spend the next 60 years without their mama. Them children have to spend the next 5 minutes without their mother. Them children got to spend the rest of their lives dealing with life, with living without their mother. Those children now have a lifetime, no, a life sentence because of you. The rest of their life, they have to remember, they have to deal with their mother being shot in front of them the rest of their lives. They're grandbabies. Her grandbabies. They don't get to have a grandma. They have children. They don't have that grandma. Those children have to tell their children. Your grandmama was shot and killed by an old hateful woman because she didn't like us playing in her yard. She called us slaves and niggers. That's what they have to tell their babies. That lady's grandchildren. That's what they have to pass on to their children about their grandmother because of you. And you sitting up in the interrogation room talking about, I was terrified. You should have been. But you ain't seen terror yet. You haven't seen it yet. Not yet. You're going to get a taste of it when they put you behind bars. You're going to get a taste of terror then. And if you don't fall on your knees and get it right with God, you're going to see terror show enough. That's when the terror's coming. That's terror. You're just getting a taste of it now. But if you don't repent and ask God for forgiveness and mean it, you're going to get terror for sure. You're just going to get a little taste in the prison. That's just a taste. Just a taste, Miss Susan. Y'all, I find this story absolute. This is not a story. I find these facts absolutely heartbreaking. We've got to do better. We have got to do better. We've got to do better, people. Well, I think I've said all I had to say about Miss Susan for right now, guys. I appreciate you joining me here on Georgia Sunflower, Kansas Peach. I think on our next conversation we're going to talk about, I believe the man's name is Tory Lanez. He was one of the officers that participated in the George Floyd killing. He has been released from prison. We're going to talk about that, and we're also going to talk about the Petersons. We got a lot of things coming up, and I appreciate you guys joining me here on GSKP, Georgia Sunflower, Kansas Peach. And as I always say, stay safe, Say your prayers. Wear your mask. COVID is getting back up on the rise. Always remember, I am my brother's keeper. I love you. Bye.